7.
It's 7:02. We're going to get started for the evening. I'm going to start real quick the roll call.
And it's even worse.
Bob,
Here.
John,
Here.
Alex, Andy,
Here.
Bettina, here, Danielle. See Daryl or Alita. I know Alita's out tonight. Jennifer, Kristen, here, Laura, and Richard is not here.
And you got a
Okay, thank you very much. We do have a quorum. That is my welcome for the evening. Next up, do we have any changes for the agenda? All right. The agenda is accepted as is. And next up is communication from the public on non-agenda items. This is specifically non-agenda items. Each person will have 3 minutes. If there's anyone in attendance here that would like to speak, please raise your hand. Yes, sir. All right. May I have your name, please?
Sir Javier. Yes. I'm ready, babe.
Are you speaking together or?
This is my first time here, so.
Okay. All right. Well, let
It's
Cesar
just
go first and then and then you can speak. Okay. Cesar, you have 3 minutes, please.
Oh, but now,
Yes. Yes, sir.
all right. May I post this little training aid so you would understand it quickly? I am thankful. I am a community volunteer, west bank of Cholas Creek. West bank, Cholas Creek, a community that is described by CDC as poor neighborhood. This is a simple map. I started since June 13, 2021. There is a toxicity here. A menace, a nuisance permitted by the city. Ceramics manufacturing and kiln industrial makeshift. They put it there and they said, the code enforcement, oh, the city allows it. It's a business. And I said, why? It's a business and we have nothing to do with business permit. That was the last justification. And they endorsed it to Air Pollution Control District because they had the jurisdiction to measure the toxicity. Up to now, they haven't did the reading because they can only read outside of the property. That's the rule. We called the police and the police said, oh, we cannot conduct investigation because it has a city permit. The lady police woman, where is the law enforcer? Sir, the lady police woman said, build the wall and close your windows. I accept that as a solution, but that is not the true solution. It has to be abated. It has to be stopped because it is against the law, California land use and planning laws. It cannot be there because any business, any activity should be in accord with health,
30 seconds, sir.
safety, and well-being. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
A question, could you give us the address, please, sir?
5238
On Streamview?
Streamview Drive.
All right.
There is a school 120 feet away, Marshall and Waldorf,
Thank you very much.
Asian neighborhood. I do not know why they put it there.
Is this in City Heights 52?
No, it's Redwood Village or Oak Park.
No, City Heights.
Oh, it is City Hall?
Yeah.
It's on Streamview. Oh, it's on the other
It's on the
other side.
other
of
side.
50.
On the other side, we see Redwood.
All right.
Sir, the City Heights Planning Committee meets on first Mondays over at the building on University Ave and Highway 15. At 6:30 in the evening, first Mondays. This is in City Heights. We don't have any jurisdiction over it because we're west, or sorry, east of 54th Street. So 52, Streamview would be City Heights.
So we have been abandoned. They do not like me to appear there. It's the truth. And I'm thankful to Mr. Marin because of the message the other day. Continue asking questions to the city. Continue working out.
Right.
Be true to yourself. Mr. Marin. He's
Thank
the
you.
third representative now in the Streamview area. Martha got sick. Mr. Ben Mendoza was moved out. I talked to Serafina, the police officer, asking where the policewoman who told us, build the wall. And
Your time's up. Thank you, sir. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's another subject. If that's okay.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. That's what this is for, non-agenda comments.
On North Parkway. And for the last maybe 3 nights, there's been somebody just coming in our yard, taking whatever he wants. He went in my storage shed. He stole all the neighbors' tools next door and the lady next door to us. And what he does is they start from the street and they walk all the way back, all the way down to all the property. And he just takes his time. He came in once at about 9 o'clock. We were there. We heard some noise, but we didn't know what it was. That's a good thing for him. But we call the police about it, and they say, well, it's not there. They get to it. It's nothing. I guess what we need to do is see if we get some kind of barricade or something, because the guy was sleeping in a whole bunch of back clothes, so he was kind of camping out. That canyon right over.
Waits as long as 20 years.
Back out into the ocean, the migrant camps like that over there. And so it's kind of driving me crazy. Like 2 days for me to go to sleep again. Just so mad. So before that escalates into something that I don't have any control of, I'd like to see if it's something we can get done.
Good block. Good block of the street.
We're in
We're at 5120 Joyous Parkway. And there seems to be an area right here on Boyce Lane where people they just have access to walk through this walkway, which takes them back behind like a cemented wall, which is literally right in your backyard. And whoever it is has been going like back and forth, kind of canvassing the area, stealing from there's about 5 properties that are right there stealing. But then we also, since we're right here by Choice, across the street, we have no houses. So we get a lot of the loitering, the people parking, getting high, it's crazy. It's crazy. And it's been like that, I would have to say, maybe like over the past 2 or 3 years, but it seems like because of this homeless situation that's going on there, it's just gotten way out. We got our mail stolen, like.
We have pictures, we have video of him grabbing a stuff and jumping a fence and, that kind of stuff, but, by the time we looked at that.
And you have a police report?
Yes.
Good.
Yes,
Can I give you guys my card, please?
Oh,
And
yes.
send me an email, please,
yes.
and I'll make sure to meet with you offline.
Thank you.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other non-agenda comments? Anyone else? No hands up out here. I see online, Ramon Uribe from Groundwork has his hand up. Good evening, Ramon.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Again, Ramon Uribe from Groundwork. I know it's a different community, but I am helping Southeastern San Diego Community Planning Group start their hybrid meetings next month in April. And they'll also be having the City of San Diego Planning Department present on the CIP process. So I'll be facilitating and managing the Zoom. And if anyone's interested, I know it's in Southeastern. If anyone is interested in just joining in and hearing what the presentation will be on about. I can share the link with Lynn, and you can join virtually as well.
Yeah, if you would email that, because I have chat turned off tonight.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, email it to me and I will send it out to the board.
All right.
Okay, thanks very much, Ramon. Any other non-agenda comments? If not, we're going to move on to community reports from our representatives. And first up would be Roberto Marin, our community rep from District 9, Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera's office. And I just want to say before you start, there's a rumor going around that today's your birthday and you're turning 21, right?
Turning 26.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Getting gray hairs at 26. Thank you so much. Good evening. Roberto Marin, community rep for Spring Rivera. Wanted to actually gonna do this if you don't mind passing in between. Sure. So this is we're having a community cleanup. That's actually gonna be next or in 2 Saturdays from now. Springview Drive. As you know, we are notorious of Springview Drive and illegal dumping. And so what we did this time is we're actually going to be canvassing the area. Not only that, we're actually on the backside is a like FAQ on what illegal dumping is. So a lot of people think Springview Drive is like the free dumpster. It's not. So basically it outlines what's illegal dumping, how can I report it, and just other issues. So kind of like an informative sheet, but also at the same time inviting them to the cleanup. It's from 8 to 11, 8 to 9, we're gonna be just picking up trash from Streamview, and then from 9 to 11, we're gonna be doing bulky item pickup. So if you have any bulky items, please come, we will help and assist you. A couple other things, it's been a while since I was here, but we did have Rolando Park clear out their channel. So the whole channel from College all the way to Aragon is completely cleared. They've rebuilt the retaining wall. It took 15 years, but finally got done. So kudos to city staff. They worked like around the clock, like really around the clock. So the other thing too is, I think I said at the Rolando Village meeting, but the undergrounding is basically complete for Bradford, Seminole, and all those roads. So right now we're having a briefing actually tomorrow on the next steps of paving, which as mentioned at that meeting is going to be Estelle, Reveal, Bradford, all sorts of roads in and around the area. I'm happy to touch base with you offline on what that actually looks like. But we're happy that the project is going ahead of schedule. The last thing I wanted to highlight was just Choice Parkway. I know that's like a big thing. Like now that I know that's not just this, it's now even further, which is great. They have posted no camping signs there. Hopefully that deters folks. Not sure if that will happen, but it's another tool in the toolbox for law enforcement to be able to use that. And we're also just following up with Lucero. We're working together to make sure that those immediate needs are addressed. So the last thing is SDG&E is working on having a fence around in and around this section over here near the substation. And apparently they're going to have security guards, armed security guards. So I don't know what that looks like quite yet, but we're trying to finalize what that actually will entail. So besides that, I think that is it. Sorry, I keep saying one last thing. One more thing, parks, Choice Triangle Park. Thank you to everyone that called in. Choice Triangle Park was awarded approximately around close to $1 million. Choice Creek Oak Park Trail was also awarded a good amount of money as well.
You're getting into all of my reports.
And then, yeah, I'm not gonna go into extensive, but Clay Park and yeah, Montezuma is in College area, but Clay Park was also included in that. So that's it. I don't know if you have any quick questions.
Any quick questions?
Does this exist in any other language?
Yes, it does. I just gave these out just for like an example, but I do have a lot more online. So
Perfect. So I can find it online also?
Yeah, I'm happy to email it to Lynn. So she
Okay.
can distribute.
Yep.
It's in,
Thank you.
It's in Spanish and it's in Vietnamese.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex.
Roberto, when we met about 4 weeks ago, you, me, Lynn, Lucero, and a bunch of others about what's going on with
Yeah.
Choice Parkway.
Is there been any progress about the no parking signs and trying to make sure that the semis don't park up and down that?
I think Lucero is
That'll
gonna,
be Lucero?
yeah, that'll be a
That's-
Lucero question, but I know we've been working on that, and I know I think she might have an update
Okay,
in her
great.
face, so,
Thanks.
yeah. Anyone else?
Any other questions?
Just quick, there is a new online group called cleanca.com. It's trying to get rid of litter and problems, and Caltrans has all sorts of new programs for cleaning up California. And I think both your office and all of our communities should look at those and try and kind of get working together.
Yes, I'm happy to look into that for y'all.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, Roberta? Thank you, Roberta. Next is Bruce Williams from the District 4 office. Good evening, Bruce.
Good
There
evening,
you
all.
are.
Bruce Williams, representing Council District 4. Always good to be with you. I'm sorry I'm not there in person tonight. A couple of things I wanted to share. Wanted to give you an update. We do not have a council member, but the election is showing that, well, we got something from the clerk today indicating that the count should be done by the 4th of April. And if that happens, then we will swear in the new council member probably the second week of the month of April. So, and when that's done, we'll have the District 4 person up at the dais, and we'll have a member, and we'll start getting our staff together and move forward. So thank you all for your patience, District 4 residents. We've been short on staff, but we've been doing the best that we could. So let's look out for that in the second week of April. Then I wanted to share a couple of other things as well. For those that have been volunteering and helping people to the south with respect to items and volunteering and providing food and all sorts of things to the people who were victims of the floods. Just wanted to say thank you to all of you who are helping your neighbors. I really, really appreciate that. Last week, we were able to go down and talk to some of the volunteers, and they're still in need. So if folks would like to donate water, rice, peanut butter, you know, goods for like baby wipes and diapers and disinfectant sprays, sponges, those sorts of things, there's still a need for those type of items. And so if you'd like to continue to be generous, that would be appreciated. FEMA is helping those folks down in that area. The checks are starting to roll out, but help is still needed. And we'll give your continued prayers and good thoughts is much appreciated. I got some good news from a friend over in Congressman Juan Vargas's office, who indicated that there is going to be 15 community projects receiving funding as a result of Representative Vargas. Two of them that I thought would be of interest to this group is, well, in District 4, $850,000 for the Marie Whitman Memorial Park improvements, and $850,000 for the Oak Park Library construction. So,
Right.
grateful to our congressman for that. And then also, it was mentioned by earlier that there was going to be some funding for about 19 parks across San Diego. And I don't want to take anything from Lucero, so I'll let Lucero announce those. That's pretty much what I have. There is a question about the folks that are encamping over by the old Big Lots. And there, you know, people have been calling about that. And so what's been going on there is PD is informed. The folks that deal with homeless for the city have been informed as well. They've gone over there and made some visits. However, the parking lot there is owned or managed by a group that plans to put in a red, white, and blue thrift store at the old lot there, the old Big Lots store. And so they do not have the appropriate paperwork so that PD can go in there and take action. And once the LOA is done, then we're told that PD will be able to go in there and help assist those folks to find services. So that's kind of where we are now when it comes to the encampment. It's been kind of growing a bit there, but it's in the works. Once that LOA has been signed, PD can take some action. That's all I have. Happy birthday to the birthday boy, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Thank you, Bruce. Any questions? Yes.
Thanks, Bruce. What paperwork needs to be filled out? How can citizens push that forward?
Well, you probably need to talk to the management and call me, and I can give you the phone number to management. And it's something that I always get it mixed up. It's the LOA. I think, is it LOA?
Letter of agency.
Yes, letter of agency. So basically it gives PD the authority, the permission from the owners of the property to go in and act as an agent of the owners of the management company and take care of items. They get their permission. PD gets permission to take action. And so that's what needs to happen. So you may want to encourage the folks at the store is it's the red, white, and blue thrift store. It's in Escondido, and that they are going to put another store where Big Lots is now. And so if you call them and just encourage them to, hey, we need you to do this, maybe that will put a little fire under their feet to make something happen. Are there any other questions for me?
Any other questions for Bruce? Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Next up, Lucero Maganda from the mayor's office. Welcome, Lucero.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me okay. I apologize for not being there in person. I'm feeling a little under the weather, so trying to stay away from people. But I do have some updates to share with you all, as well as filling in some of the gaps and also some of the questions that came up during my colleagues' reports. First, I wanted to share that the City of San Diego is starting this month, as of yesterday, is seeking input for the draft of the Mobility Master Plan. I know this is an item of interest to this group, so just wanted to share that started yesterday. The first event was held at the San Isidro Library, but there are several dates throughout this month where folks can participate. This upcoming Monday, March 18th, there will be an event at City Heights, at the City Heights Library. That's in Fairmount Avenue from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. And several others coming up in person, as well as a virtual option. So Lynn, I'll email you that information with those dates so folks can participate, whether in person or online, to share their input. And thank you, Bruce, for letting me have a moment regarding the funding. So as both Roberto and Bruce mentioned, the City Council did approve 15.9 million in capital improvement funding, which will go towards 19 park projects in the neighborhoods as part of the Mayor's Parks for All of Us initiative. The ones that I wanted to highlight for this group and were already mentioned, but I think they should be mentioned again because it's so important. Chollas Creek, Oak Park Branch Trail, the Clay Neighborhood Park improvements, and North Chollas Community Park improvements. Again, wanted to highlight that as a big win for not only for this group, but for several of our communities that are in much need of those improvements. I also shared this with you all, but in case you missed it, the Office of the Independent Budget Analyst is offering a crash course for residents who are interested in learning about the budget process. the budget process is intense. It can be a lot. So I would encourage you all to take advantage. Again, I'll send out the information, but it should be roughly about an hour. I believe it's March 21st. So if you have the capability to attend, I would encourage you to, as I know a lot of you are very engaged and active and participating in our process, and we can always learn how to do better advocacy and how to truly understand that process. I believe that it'll be recorded, but it doesn't hurt to ask if folks can attend. I'd be happy to see if we can get a copy to share with folks that are not able to attend. And lastly, this was also mentioned earlier in the reports, but the signage for the unsafe camping ordinance is in process and should be completed by this end of this week, March 15th. We do ask that you give us some time so that enforcement can take place. It does take a little bit of time from transitioning to the installation of the signage. I know for a lot of the areas, there's a combination of issues from encampments to illegal dumping, and a lot of those things are sort of intertwined. So we're trying to tackle those as fast as we can and trying to make sure that we're taking the right steps. I know we mentioned the meeting that some of us met. I don't even remember how long ago that was. I think that was before the flood. So please excuse us. We're trying to get back to business. As you know, the flood took a lot of not only city staff time, but a lot of us were out there working every single day, walking the neighborhoods, talking to residents. So we're just trying to gear back and making sure that we're following up on that. But as far as the parking for the overnight parking, we have been talking to transportation about what kind of measures we can take, whether the feasibility of no parking signage over red curving. So they are evaluating that, and we'll make sure to share those updates. But again, it's in combination of several things, including one of those steps being the unsafe camping ordinance signage, which would help with enforcement in the area. I don't know if I missed anything, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Lucero. Questions, Danielle?
Hi, Lucero. This is a question possibly for District 9 also. There was a mention of streets getting repaved, and Joyce Parkway was on the list. It didn't tell us 100 block. Was it east of 54th Street or west of 54th Street that Joyce Parkway is going to get repaved? Because if it's east of 54th Street, we're going to be tearing up that street too.
Yeah, so Roberto had brought that up too. I'm trying to get a clear answer from the department on the specifics. I will say though, that we do have very recently we passed the oh my God, I'm blanking, the street preservation ordinance, which, to summarize, is essentially to make sure that when for instances like this, when there is work that needs to happen, whether it be SCG&E, Cox, or even the city of San Diego, if we've just repaved the street and we need, for whatever reason, got our wires crossed and we need to go and dig up and do some work, that there is accountability to restore to the level of.
I'm not talking about the repaving and then digging it up later. I'm talking about it getting vacated for the Choice Triangle Park. Why are we repaving it now if it's to the east of 54th Street when the park's going to be coming in soon? So if they're going to repave west of 54th Street in City Heights, that's wonderful. See what I'm getting at?
Save their money.
Yes.
Save money too. Okay, my other question is a little more complex, and it's also for District 4 and District 9. Ever since I was on the Park and Rec board, I've been asking, what is the difference in DIP fees now that ADUs don't have to pay into them? And I have not gotten an answer. Even Mr. Andy Field, who's director of Park and Rec, has not got an answer from Heidi Von Bloom. So we're trying to find out what that delta is. You know, how much lower are the DIP fees that are being collected because ADUs are now exempt? And I know there's a grand jury group that's looking into the ADU DIP situation, but I don't know if they're going to come up with a number either. If planning is not revealing the kind of public knowledge, I mean, we have 85 million in DIF, but we need $1 billion of parks just from DIF. So, you know, something that's up to maybe 100,000, and we need $1 billion of it. It's like, you know, you need 10 times what the DIF is coming in, and here we are not having ADUs pay into the DIF fee. So if we could find out what that difference is, since ADUs are now exempt, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Lucero? Thank you, Lucero. Moving on, Sam Gonzalez from State Assembly Member Dr. Akila Weber's office. Hi, Sam.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome.
can.
Good. Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. I have a very short update, and that is our book giveaway coming up on April 5th at 10 a.m. through 11:30 a.m. It'll be at the Jackie Robinson YMCA. We're expecting a lot of kids, and the event is free, open to the public. The books we're going to give away are from pre-K through 12. There's no limit, so just come by, you know, say hi to the assembly member and just grab some books. On the legislative side, we also introduced, I think last month, 20 bills, and those bills are on our website under legislative package. I would go through them all, but there's 20 of them. So if there's anything that sticks out to you, or you just want to talk about a particular bill that maybe it's not the assembly members, let me know, and next time I can come with more information. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Any questions for Sam? Location for the book drop, Sam? And the
Jackie
date.
Robinson YMCA.
And what day again, please?
Oh, April 5th.
April 5th.
Friday, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anything else for Sam? All right, our last representative tonight is here, and that would be Kate Needham Cano. She's our community representative for this group and the Military and Veterans Liaison for Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs'
Hi,
office.
good evening, everyone.
Kate.
Good to see all of you. Again, Kate, I'm from Congresswoman Jacobs' office. I'm a military veterans liaison. I'm a Navy veteran myself. And I'm also our community representative for this area and several others. Just a couple of quick updates. So you can see the House is in session. We're voting on all of the things. So processing or something passes. Our office is doing the Art Director Art Challenge. So I put some flyers over there with my cards if you have any questions. But essentially what that is for high school students to submit their pieces of art, and the winner gets to have their art displayed in the U.S. Capitol in the tunnel. So it's a pretty significant experience for a high school student. So if you know any high school students that are interested in that, get in touch. And then locally, our office with Congresswoman Jacobs secured $13.5 million for 15 local community projects across our district. The one that Al specifically mentioned is $1 million for what is going to be called the Center for Military and Veteran Integration. What's significant about this is not only is it going to provide wraparound services for service members and veterans, but it's also going to provide it for spouses as well, which is pretty cool. And then the additional funding is going to address issues like homelessness, supporting children in the area, preventing wildfires, providing care to service members, et cetera, outside of that community center. And also, we were able to get a really fancy microscope so if any of you are interested in STEM, you want to learn more about our website. I want to address the flooding. My colleague Willow has been in touch with Lynn a lot, and what I'm doing as a project manager for this specific natural disaster that occurred is we're deploying 5 folks from our office, including myself and Willow, to different areas of the county to make sure that folks are getting the actual correct information from the SBA and FEMA about what help they can receive, trying to eliminate some of that telephone rumor issue that happens to be going around. So we want to make sure that everybody is accessing everything they have a right to have. I also have our liaison at FEMA updating every single morning with exactly how many folks have been served and how much money has gone out. So as of this morning at 9 a.m., it was about 4,500 folks were served, and $12.5 million has gone out of the fund. And I just wanted to remind everybody that the Congresswoman did read the letter to ask for the FEMA disaster relief through President and also was able to help secure the IRS deadline being extended. So if you have any questions on that, again, my chart's over there, very happy to go laptop. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that.
Thank you, Kate. Any questions for Kate? Thanks very much. Do you know when you'll be working with Willow, right, on a mobile outreach?
Yes, so we're starting that. We already started it today, actually. Our first mobile outreach was at the FBA Recovery Center. And we are also going to be in Spring Valley this weekend. And hopefully, if the Congresswoman gets in town in time, we're going to bring her to
Okay, thank you.
Actually, I have a question for Lynn. Lynn, have you invited our Congresswoman to play day at the lake? Yeah, you got her there for the
I didn't get her
holiday
there,
events.
but I will make
Somebody-
sure that she gets the information.
would like-
We'll do a little arm twisting here.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll let Willow know.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am. How much was it? Tell us. I don't know, but I will find out for you and let you know.
Yeah, it's a microscope, right?
Oh, microscope. Okay. Yeah, I think it was a couple $100,000.
Oh, sure.
I'm not very smart in foreign policy, not in science. Oh, wrong thing. Never mind.
Thank you very much, Kate. Any other questions? All right, we're going to move on to our first information item tonight, and we have Alex Frost from City Planning. He's the project manager for the Mid-City Community Plan update, and we're getting an update on the update. Hi, Alex.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Let me just share my screen here. Yeah, I have a quick update on all the recent activities and upcoming activities. There's actually been a lot going on with the Mid-City Communities Plan update. Just quick intro, Alex Frost with City Planning, I'm project manager. We're just going to cover recent upcoming engagement activities, some of the technical studies that we'll be doing during the first phase and second phase and next steps. Recent upcoming activities. We're at phase 1 of our plan update process, really collecting input from people that live and work in this city about how to improve the community, also building awareness that the plan update is going. And has been launched. So this first phase will be until summer of this year. In terms of, we've been doing a lot of pop-ups. So going to where people gather. So starting in January 18th, we were at Kensington Park. On January 19th, at the Price Family YMCA, City Heights Library, Normal Heights Kensington Library. We were at Lunar New Year Festival on February 10th and 11th. There are thousands of people there. Multicultural Festival was another big event on February 17th. Northgate Market on March 1st. And Colina del Sol Rec Center on March 2nd, Croc Center on March 2nd, and Adams Recreation Center and Park de la Cruz Recreation Center, both on March 2nd. This was in partnership with Cal Poly SLO students. They're doing a community planning studio. So they were at some of these they were doing some of the pop-ups. We will be at the Rolando Street Fair on April 14th. So excited for that event. I know it's been going for a while. So those are kind of the recent pop-ups. Really the intent here is to just engage folks, maybe they aren't really civically aware or engaged in, city processes. So this is the opportunity to really kind of catch their attention for a couple minutes and provide us like quick input into the plan update. And probably 90% of folks, this will be their main like touch point, which is okay. But as we get into more specificity and more concepts, we'll definitely get more folks that are civically engaged and specifically aware to provide us input. So that's kind of where we're at with the pop-ups. Recent community office hours. We've also been holding space for anyone to attend some of these office hours, 20-minute slots, and you can have a little bit more in-depth discussion on anything that people have concerns about their community. So we had one today at Adams Rec Center from 3 to 5, and there'll be two more, March 18th at City Heights Library, and then March 25th. So that's the College Rolando Library, I guess would be the most pertinent. We had some weather challenges. So I think one of the February 20th one, we had 5 people, reserve their spot, but then it really rained heavily that day. So only one showed up. So, it's just kind of like, what are you going to do? But we're just providing that space, and it's all good. Youth engagement. So this has been a pretty exciting one for me. We reached out to 2 middle schools, Mayan and Clark, and this is the Cal Poly students. They came on the weekend of February 29th, and so that was the Friday, and they worked with 2 classes and lunch session, working with kind of middle school kids on a very customized activity for that age group. And today I was at Hoover High School. We're working with 3 classes. So I had 390 minutes of interactive activity per class. Spent about 5 hours at Hoover today, back to high school, working with sophomores. And it was very good day in regards. And we have a consultant. I'll be working with this class on March 14th, March 22nd, and March 26th. And we're kind of integrating what they're learning in school in some of the technology, GIS, videography, and they'll be making some banners and maybe doing interviews and making videos. So I'm really excited to see what they produce. And Crawford High School, we're tentatively working with them in May. We've been in conversation with the representative and the principal there, and they were just a bit too busy in March, so they suggested May. So we wait for that to engage the Crawford High School students. In terms of community planning groups, so before we launched this Mid-City Plan Update, I was at the June 6th, the Mid-City Committee, CPU Committee, and we had a long Q&A there. I went to Normal Heights, Kensington, and Eastern planning groups in November of last year, just kind of providing preview of the plan update. And City Heights in December. I was back with the City Heights Planning Group on March, giving basically this presentation, and then today with you at Eastern Area Group. And next month, I will be going to Normal Heights and Kensington Talmadge Planning Group just to provide the latest update and upcoming activities. In terms of community-based organizations, I presented at there's a group called TEA, Transportation Equity Affordable Housing, and they're based in City Heights. Worked with them and just gave a presentation last year. I was at the El Cajon Boulevard Business Improvement Association, their annual meeting, providing an overview on the plan update. Met with PANA, Partnership for Advancement of New Americans. They work a lot with refugees, and so we had a meeting with them. And then I will be going to Crawford Community Collaborative. This is made up of representatives from like 10 to 15 organizations within the Crawford school districts and a lot of the leadership there. So it's a great opportunity to just kind of introduce the plan update and start reaching out to these community-based organizations. So we'll be starting kind of going to each of the community-based organizations in spring and doing some meetings. And then in terms of community partnerships, so we're working with City Heights CDC, and they're going to help us host 4 mini workshops, really focused more on the underrepresented groups, English as a second language, or the Spanish speakers, or potentially Vietnamese speakers, or Arabic. And they will help us with 4 pop-ups and reaching out with the City Heights Business Improvement Association and their TEA group. So that should be coming next couple months. And then working group and other activities. Thank you to everyone who applied for the working group. We received 62 completed applications. We anonymized applicant info and scoring matrix. We submitted that to Ascent, who's our consultant, and they made the pre-selection based on this an anonymized data set. So we're planning to announce the working group selection mid to late March, and orientation and first meeting sometime in spring. First survey, English, Spanish. I know it's a very quick 2-minute or less. It's only 3 questions survey. Thanks for everyone who's taking it. We've gotten over 500 online respondents, 80+ respondents from the youth engagement, and 350 respondents from all the pop-ups we've been doing. So hope to have more than 1,000 people participate in this. And we are also working on launching this thing called Hello Lamppost. It's a text-based engagement that is 24/7 and in 3 languages. So it's kind of like we'll have a sign by the bus stop, where people are waiting for buses, and they can actually text and have a conversation and provide, learn about the plan update, but also provide input related to, some of the things they see in their communities and some of the things they want to see improvements. So it's kind of another avenue to open up access for people to provide feedback. We're piloting this technology for City of San Diego, so we'll see how it goes. And workshops, so in person, virtual. We have a couple dates. We're kind of finalizing the venue. It will be in the spring. Probably be open house / workshop, kind of hybrid format. We'll have 1 in person, a large event, and then 1 virtual. And then everything we've gathered through the kind of this first wave of public engagement, we'll have a summary sometime in the summer. All right, technical studies. So in spring, we'll be releasing Mid-City Atlas, Existing Conditions Report. So it's really a community snapshot on the history and place, sustainability, equity, climate resilience, land use, housing, jobs, mobility, parks, public facilities, open space, a lot of maps, charts, graphs, some historical data. Going back 30-40 years and looking at some of that trends. So that should be coming out hopefully before the workshop. And then the workshop will cover some of the content, and I'll also come back and present to y'all on what's the preliminary findings from that. And in fall, we've started the existing conditions mobility assessment. So this is more in-depth, detailed multimodal assessment, really looking at all the pedestrian facilities, bike facilities, transit facilities, traffic circulation, and we'll be conducting a vehicular count on major intersections and corridors. So that should be available in fall, and this is where our traffic engineers and our planners, mobility planners, will be using this information, come up with some concepts. And then historic context statement and survey, tentatively by this winter, maybe early next year. But we've started the historic context statement. It's a guide for evaluating historical resources. So history of built environment, themes, property types, fairly technical, but obviously some of the oldest neighborhoods in San Diego is in Mid-City. So we'll be working on that as well. So that's some of the technical studies. Okay, next step. How to keep updated, get involved. You can visit project website. You can sign up for updates at planmidcity.org. Participate in our in-person community office hours. There's 2 more during this phase. There'll be more later. And there's a 3-question survey still up in English and Spanish. and attend upcoming events. So we'll see you at the street fair or upcoming workshops or working group meetings. So, and you can always email us at this planmidcity@sandiego.gov. And we've been getting a lot of feedback and things we need to pay attention to, you know, as we work through this plan update. So, yeah, that concludes my presentation. So I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. I'm going to take questions from the board first, and then I'll see if anyone else. I'll start at the Centennial.
Thank you. Ashley, could you share the screen again and go back
Oops,
to
okay.
the applications, the 62 applications for the working group? You're going to be announcing soon?
Yes, 62,
So my question is,
completed
those
application.
cool. My question is, of those 62 applications, how many are going to be appointed and how many others are going to be picked and how are they going to be picked?
So it will be 12. There were 12 pre-selected applicants, and there will be 4 designees. So each planning group has 1 designee. I've gotten a designee for 3 planning groups so far. Still waiting for Kensington Talmadge. So we're thinking 16 people total. So 12 from this kind of applicant pool, and then 4 from the planning groups. And it's based on, you know, population proportion between the 4 planning area or community planning areas, looking at, you know, household living arrangement, right? Renters, homeowners, single family, living in single family homes, you know, own or rent, or multifamily, own or rent, and also kind of income and there are a couple other demographic, age, right? Are we gonna have, you know, a good representation of age groups, and there's a couple other interests. So what are people's different interests? So we wanted to, you know, make sure that we had a good representation of like people with different expertise. So those are
Okay,
kind of criteria. Yeah.
Thank you. So what I understand is the 4 designees are coming from each planning group. And then there's the 12 people that have been whittled down from the 62 applications. And of those 12, are they going to be geographically, is geography part of the process to pick those 12 people?
Yeah, that's one of the first criteria.
So,
yeah.
so does that mean that City Heights is going to get more of the 12 than the other 3?
Slightly more. Yeah, I think over 50% of people live in City Heights, so mid-city, but Eastern area will have more representation compared to Normal Heights and Kensington Talmadge.
And for somebody like me who is both living in Kensington and representing a business in Eastern area, that have bonus points or anything like that?
Yeah, we can look into it.
Park and Rec Board, you know, are you gonna have people picked by what their area of interest is? Like Park and Rec?
Yeah, so the consultant, so basically we submitted all the application, right? We basically anonymized the data, so no names or anything, you know, phone or and so the consultant just looked at all the response, but really more like demographic, right? Socioeconomic demographic information and the interest to select. So we'll publish the whole selection process and some of the methodologies we used and whatnot. So that should be all available when we announce. Yeah.
That would help if you publish all that so that it's not just, you know, behind the scenes, we picked these 12 people out of those 62 applications.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Laura,
Yeah, I have a question. Are you going to be providing all the information you're collecting, like at all the pop-ups? You had quite a variety of respondents to your survey from those pop-ups. One of the numbers was like 350. And so can you compile all the information you're getting and put it online so we can all see it? So that we all have some access to what people are saying and what trends are looking like?
Yeah, so we'll definitely have all of that as we'll have the public engagement summary in summer, and I think some of the initial findings, what we're hearing from folks, we'll probably have that presented at the workshop. And with the engagement summary, we'll just have all the raw like input. I mean, we've been hearing a lot of, good things from the office hours as well. So there's, so we'll have all of that available for anyone. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, Alex, two questions. One, can you send the PowerPoint to Lynn so she can distribute it to us?
Yeah, I can send it to them.
And my second question is, in terms of the application process that you're going to explain, later, does it look like the way in which corporations now go through resumes? That is it an AI kind of process or is it something else?
Yeah, I wish I could have figured out how to use AI to make the selection. If you have ideas, that's great. But no, we have done a similar process through the inclusive engagement guide. So we kind of fine-tune that. So we've used it and we've improved it. And then we had a third party select. But yeah, I mean, if you know how to utilize AI to do this sort of thing, I'm open to those ideas.
Let me get everybody else first. Okay, thanks. Any other board members, questions? Okay, I'm gonna let Laura ask one last one and then.
Last one, Alex. What can you tell us what kind of questions you're asking people and what kind of engagement you're doing with the public? Because we're hearing you're going out and doing all these pop-ups. How do you present things? What kind of questions do you ask? What kind of info do you get out there at those pop-ups?
So for like large events like Lunar New Year, where there's just like hundreds of people, we're just asking the survey question, how would you describe your community in a few words, one word or a few words. And it's pretty much anyone from 8 to like 80, has something to provide, and some of them are really some of the response are really interesting. So there's that. The Cal Poly students, they had a little bit more variety on different ways they can folks can provide feedback. So they had like a mapping exercise, and they also had the kind of the survey board, post-it note kind of questions, and they also had other questions. Went a little bit more in detail, and they were at rec centers and libraries, so the crowds were kind of trickling in so people can have longer conversation, right? 10 minutes, 20 minutes even. So that's kind of how they were documenting everything. With youth engagement, a totally different, right, approach to middle school versus high school. So high school, we're still asking the similar questions, but we just go a little bit more in detail with the high school students since we're working with them for 4 sessions and they're going to help create. So, I mean, we'll have all of those, but the way to think about it is like, it's like different streams, right? That we're collecting and it will all go into a lagoon or a lake, and then we'll summarize and code a lot of the information. You'll start to see larger patterns, right? So what we're hearing in like Kental and Normal Heights and how people describe their community is very kind of different from how people are describing their community in City Heights or Eastern area. So hopefully we can like see those kind of like individuality and different kind of sense of place. But I haven't really like deeply looked into everything, but we'll have all those information available. Yeah, and then the workshop will be like a lot more mapping, more in depth. So that's another aspect of it.
It would be helpful to know what you're asking when you're out there and what kind of information, especially the Cal Poly students are using, because we're kind of completely in the dark and we're supposed to be pretty much a part of this process. I feel like we're kind of left out when you've got so much other stuff going on. So if you could provide what kind of conversations are being had, what kind of questions are being asked, as well as the responses, that would be great.
Yeah, so again, we'll be sharing all of that as part of the engagement summary, and at the workshop we'll have kind of the initial themes and vision and that sort of thing, priorities. So we'll be presenting that too.
Yeah, but we're not being asked anything yet, and we're completely, like I said, feels like we're in the dark when you're doing all this other stuff. So it'd be nice to be more engaged or have some information provided to us rather than just this general summary that doesn't have any details or meat.
Yeah, so again, like office hours, a great opportunity, upcoming workshops. Again, like right now, it's a way to think about it right now is like we're just reaching out to the general public right now, right? Everybody
We
on
don't
this.
know what you're saying or what you're asking.
we're-
We don't know what Cal Poly students and how they're engaging with students. We don't know any of that stuff.
Well, so I can present like when I have all of those information, right? When it's available. So we'll be packaging all of that.
We've been doing it for 3 months. It seems like we should be able to get some info.
When it's available, I guess. Okay.
There's still time.
Yeah, I think we still have time. I have two last questions. I have one from Steve online, and then I'll take one from you, and then we're going to wrap this up. Steve?
Good evening. So I was looking at the update map, and on the update map, there's a community, I guess a black line, which is what, a community group area. And it has two colors. It has two colors in it right down the middle, and one color is Ridgeview and the other color is Webster. And is that going to stay like that forever, or would that be joined together, or is it, is it more appropriate, and how would you make sure that it does or does not get joined together?
Do you want it to stay joined together, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I would think that it would be more efficient. It would be better. It'd be better managed to better manage the land if it was instead. I mean, one community group meets quarterly and the other one meets monthly. So I would think that the monthly guys would say, hey, why don't you come meet with us, whatever. So I don't know. It's part of the division was caused by the census, and the one group, the Ridgeview group, is now included in District 4. I mean, I know that districts don't make any difference in planning groups, but maybe they should. But anyway, how would you rectify that, or would you?
So the neighborhood boundaries that we use, that comes from the police beat map. So really it's the police, they kind of draw those, and they'll occasionally update, but yeah, I'm not sure. So we're just using what's available, in the city's GIS system and those neighborhood boundaries. So I mean, that's kind of my response, I guess.
Well, it's extremely archaic, okay,
Yeah.
and it's geographically not functional. It's physically not functional,
Yeah.
and it's in a different district. I mean, whatever. So I mean, the time to change it would be during this overhaul, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if there's a specific request and there's a support for neighborhood boundaries, I guess. Maybe so right now the Ridgeview Webster is combined, and it's in City Heights and Eastern area. Yeah, so that's what you're saying, right? It's like Webster's in Eastern, and then Ridgeview.
It's the only one. It's the only one like that. It's the only one on your,
Yeah, so there's overlap, but the way city's approaching, we're looking at it as a Miss City wide, so like there won't be any disconnect between those. I mean, we're looking at it all interconnected. So I mean, hopefully that should help. If we had to separate and like have a specific community plan for Eastern area and then for City Heights and normal, then it would be more of a problem, right? Because then you would kind of split that neighborhood in half, I guess.
That's what we have.
Yeah.
And okay, I don't want to take any more time, but that doesn't seem very efficient, very effective. So we attend these workshops, and that's how to get it started.
Yeah, workshop and just sign up for updates and if you want to set up a meeting, with us and if you have some, issues or things that we should be aware of as we progress through plan update, we're always open to meeting anyone. So
Thank you very much. Our application still, you got a group of 62 people. As our applications open for that? It's still?
oh no, that's closed. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
I have one last question here and then we're done for this evening. Thank
I
you.
could just imagine that the direction of this public survey is all about survival. Considering the elements of urban planning, our shield, man, the shelter, society, communication, transportation, etc. Where are we on those 5 elements? I noticed that the pop-ups and the referrals and this dissemination, this survey, are more on the use. I didn't see tapping the professional, the academic, the experts in the planning. And last query, I wish I could sense now what lessons for those 3 months of experience amplifying all these plans, what weighty lesson that you could provide us now.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand the question. Are you saying why aren't we talking to experts? Is that I'm just trying to get a clarification here.
We are doing workshop with the primary students, the high school students.
Mhm.
I haven't seen a referral to the professionals.
Yeah, sir, that's coming. That's coming. Again, it's like it's a way.
PhDs,
Yeah.
the urban planners, when they approve this pure water, for instance, which is now being constructed
Mhm.
and being funded, and they have been asking money, and it is justified. Why can't we refer to the professionals, the PhDs too, and let's hear their response to this plan that being hatched or being crafted for referral to the public. And lastly, where are we in the master plan? Or is just this a repetitive effort to put meaning to the re-election? I'm sorry, but that's only my, shall we say, imagination.
Okay. Do you have a question, sir? Or that was just a comment?
Maybe the question is, when you tell us the applicants, you said that they're going to be anonymized, maybe listing who are the professionals of those 62 people that applied. Be interesting to read once those people have already been picked. Because that's when you tell us what the application, you're not going to tell us what the applications are before they're picked. You're going to tell us all of that data after the 12 are picked.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we release all the application, I mean, it wouldn't be, there's like a privacy issue, right?
I'm not saying the whole application. You said you anonymized it. You can release all that data before they're picked so that we can say, okay, these 62 people had all these qualifications and these are the top 12.
So it would be, how would you select that? I mean, it's just changing the way you go about selecting folks. And I mean, I'm coming to the planning group.
What it's going on with Laura asked, can we see the data first before you make the decisions?
Kind of some transparency. We're completely in the dark. And one of the big things that keeps being talked about in City Hall is transparency. And this is a huge undertaking that's going to affect lots of communities. So transparency would be great.
Yeah, we're the guinea pigs here in City Heights for Mid-City for this process of picking the working group.
Yeah, you're doing something that's not been done before. We've seen how the other city plan updates worked in the last couple of years in all the other areas. And now we're all of a sudden in a deep hole. They all got to participate. They were there, being part of it the whole time, and we're not. And it just feels completely unfamiliar, strange, and like we're in a hole. And so you're going to have to be more transparent for everybody to know what's going on. Not just us, but everybody you're working with.
All right, noted. I mean, again, this process, this is the second time cities doing this, this approach. So, I mean, not as part of the plan updates, but just be, you know, with the inclusive engagement guide and the focus group. I mean, so this, yeah.
You said that we're the planning group. Planning is the first time.
We're the
There was
first-
Other thing that was going.
We're the first planning group.
Yeah,
So,
this
is that
is
right?
completely unfamiliar and strange, and everybody else got to have a lot more say in what was going on in their communities. And it's feeling very, I don't know the exact word. What it is.
Yeah, so just rest
we need like some
assured.
transparency
Not
and to know what's going on.
Not inclusive here.
Be able to be part of the process.
Right. So
Because
we've
they-
just started the plan update process. This is a 3-year process. You know, I think with all the expertise in this group, when the existing conditions report, you know, comes out, when the public engagement report comes out, when some of these technical studies and some of the initial concepts, those are the touch point where the expertise of this group would be really helpful, I feel like. But you know, I mean, again, there's just different touch points right now, right? So we're trying to be inclusive as possible by reaching out to a lot of these folks that don't usually participate in the plan update process, right? And reaching out to kids and youth, right? This will impact them the most the next 20, 30 years. So we're, you know, trying to reach out, and I'm here with the planning group, you know, every 3-4 months, updating you, and as there's additional engagement opportunities, you know, there's an opportunity. I mean, I was presenting to this group before we launched the plan update, so I don't understand, you know, this lack of transparency issue, right? I mean, I'm here talking to y'all.
We don't know what you're saying. We don't know any of the conversations that you've been having, and we don't know anything that Cal Poly's having a conversation with. We don't know any of the process at all. With the other planning groups, the last 2 years, Mira Mesa and College, those communities were completely involved all the time. The planning group came to their meetings. The people engaged at those meetings right from the start. We're not being engaged at all. We're being left in the big black hole, and you're out there doing work that's not engaging us. So if you could at least put now you don't have to put people's names on the application, like Danielle said, it can be anonymous info, but that, and then the people's responses and their survey responses, you don't have to put their names on them, but it would be wonderful to see what they're saying. It would also be wonderful to know what Cal Poly students are saying and asking at the school level, because we don't know. And those students that you're talking to now are going to become adults and become our age over the years you're talking about. So it's interesting that they're being talked to now, but that doesn't mean they'll have the same point of view soon.
No.
Yeah, well, so with regards to the questions we've been asking, I mean, I'm more than happy to, you know, share that information in the next couple weeks. Yeah, I mean, that's
Okay.
fine with that. In regards to the application, I mean, so when people applied, right, we didn't get their consent that we could release their application, even if it's anonymized, right? So there may be some challenges there, but when we select the applicant, I mean, we'll have a pretty in-depth like methodology and all the steps we took and approaches. So I mean, it's going to be more transparent than any selection process that's been in as far as I'm aware. So yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I think it's got to be really quick, Andy, because I just want to wrap up by saying that I'd like Alex to come back again a little bit more.
I was on the last committee, on the last community plan that we did.
Some of us were.
Most of us were. As you recall, we had to have an addendum to the plan because we weren't initially involved at the first part of it to put what we wanted in it. As a result, we had to go to the city to get it amended to the mid-city plan. I think that's going to happen again if we're not incorporated now rather than wait until later. What I'm saying is we should have our input first and then go out and see what they think and see if there's a mutual agreement. Instead of waiting until.
Yeah. Okay, so some of these questions, we're asking at pop-ups and we can ask this group the same questions and you can provide those as well. I mean, I'm more than willing to have that and the group can, provide feedback that way if that's.
Can I ask a question about that then, Alex? If you could provide that, could we take it back to our communities and survey our communities and give you those results? Would you take that?
In the various community.
There's six, there are six communities here.
Right.
Most of us are affiliated with almost all of us sit on our community councils. So I think we actually have more reach into some of our communities than pop-ups do. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. Also, it would be helpful to know like which community organization associations to reach out to, as we start talking with all the CBOs in Eastern area.
I think we suggested a while back that reaching out to community council levels is a very good place to start. Anyway,
For all 4 planning groups, not just Eastern.
not just ours, but yeah. We all have strong ties to our community councils and our communities. It seems like that'd be very valid for us to take it back, survey our own council, communities and councils, and bring that information. I think that's valid input. And just to follow up, because we're wrapping this up now, Steve, I'm sorry. We have multiple other things tonight. To follow up on Steve's question about boundaries, that was a question that the joint mid-city chairs sent to you. And the response then was that these questions about some of the sketchy boundaries like on El Cajon Boulevard, and the one that immediately came to mind for me is Ridgeview and Webster. You said those actually would be addressed during this process. So we don't need to talk about it tonight, but I think we want to reach out to Webster and Ridgeview folks and see if they want to be in the same planning group and how we can get that resolved during this process. And the same thing goes for the boundary issues on El Cajon Boulevard.
There's also boundary issues on Colwood between College and Kingtown.
Exactly. I think we noted that there's a bunch. So we do really want to look at that during this process. Okay. And we would ask if you could come back again real soon. Is that possible to have you come back? Are you coming quarterly now? Is that the plan, Alex?
Once every 4 months, but at least 3 times a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a couple of times.
Okay. Everybody okay for tonight then? All right, thanks. Thank you. And I would also suggest that all of us go to the Rolando Street Fair and go to the pop-up booth and get our own and get some input there.
Oh, and one last thing, Alex, do you have any kind of publication in advance as to where the pop-ups are going to be? Because Rolando Street Fair is way in April. And I mean, the end of, right?
Mid-April.
April 14th.
Yeah, so it's like a month away. And if you do pop-ups in between, people in our community might be interested in going to see what they're like. Do you publish where your pop-ups are?
We have, on our website and then with our email notification. We promote the office hours, all the pop-ups, all the events. we've been going. The student ones were more difficult because it's just, you know, working with undergrads and the professors it's a little bit more chaotic, honestly. But yeah. Email updates, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks again, Alex. Appreciate all the information. Food for thought.
When, as chair, do you know how they're going to announce those 12?
How will you announce those, the working group members? Alex, how will that be announced?
Yeah, probably through the our list, our email list, update list. Yeah, I'm not sure if they want to do a press release. It's we have to have a discussion with the comms department, and we want to go that avenue, or just do the email updates, or you know. And I will forward all this to each of the planning chairs as well, so they've been
Okay.
informed. Yeah, with
Right.
everything.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Right.
Thanks
Yeah.
again. And if you could send that presentation, is that all right to share with the public? Because I will put it out on our website.
Yeah, sure, no
That's
problem.
right. Okay,
All right.
great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, folks, moving on. It's a quick discussion. I sent out the outline, a tentative outline yesterday. We have to submit a report next month, our annual report. I've put some samples out there from other planning groups in this area, and the college area, which is.
I think we should try to outdo theirs.
I don't know how you could outdo that.
We just need to hire like a New York.
One that Wally used to do for his area when Wally was head of the CPC, and Tom based his on that one. So
I know David Modi used to just list what the action items were for each month.
I looked at David's, and I mean, really what they're looking for are projects from the year. They want to know the composition of our group. I didn't see that the outline, I didn't see much else that we needed to include. Like the college one, I don't think we need to tell people what a planning group is. And I don't, I'm sorry. And I don't think we need to include 11 months worth of minutes in our report. Yeah.
I didn't see.
So
Is there a way to just list the action items for each project? They go,
Yes.
January, this is the project review, these are our.
Exactly. So that's sort of what I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. And I'll bring it next month
Yeah.
and we'll vote on it, and then I could submit it to the city because it'll be due every April. Yeah. Yeah, for the previous year. Okay, and as should be noted, the last one was done in 2019. No one did one during the pandemic, and no one told me last year that I should.
They didn't used to even require them.
No.
They would ask for them, the semi sort of asked for them, but they weren't required, and so many planning groups didn't do them, including because we had minutes and different things. So I see why Tom attached his.
Yeah, it's amazing. Okay, so I'll bring that next month, and that's, I think, where we're at on that. Community outreach from our own group at Rolando Street Fair. We have the basics of a flyer that pretty much have the blurb about who we are as a planning group. And then we have some blurb from city planning about why you would want to join a planning group. Pretty basic, but for us, we thought we might do something, we're thinking about like a little mini survey to draw people in and talk about needs, infrastructure needs, and maybe do this as like the first step for collecting capital improvement project ideas by the end of the year. So start something very basic here at this level where we can engage people to talk about what's missing in your neighborhood, what would you like to see, these kinds of things. Yeah, but we could turn around and use that as a survey over the summer. First of all, we need to get a head start on capital improvement projects for next year.
Yeah.
Doing it in November doesn't really work very well. But as just a way to talk to people, and so we're thinking about how we would identify our 6 communities, because we will get a lot of people from outside the area. So maybe they just get a big O for outside, I don't know. Uh, But so I think we're sort of asking what kinds of broad categories we think we should ask people about, who come by the table. Anyone comes by the table.
Did I see, from Alex's presentation that they, as planning group, are gonna be there also?
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
Should the two tables be close to each other?
We think we might be asking different questions.
Yeah.
And we're sharing a table with Rolando Community Council.
Okay. No, but I don't know who maps them out, but maybe the planning group or planning department should be nearby.
I think that depends on if you're paying or you get a freebie.
Wow, so that's how they decide spots.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're getting the freebie.
Will there be some sort of map that shows our 6 communities so people can identify that,
Yes,
hey, I live in this
Yeah.
community?
yeah.
Sticker dots.
And
Figure
talk
out
about,
the-
and maybe some broad categories of infrastructure. And then we could use that to identify what people think are concerns, but over the summer, we can take those broad categories and drill down a little bit. And more at community levels, and that's what we would bring back at the end of the summer to start building a needs list for our community. Is that,
Yeah, then with the survey, would it be something that could be posted on the website?
yes, it could.
That would be perfect.
Yeah.
So we could be capturing information all year.
Yeah.
Had, approved was Eastern area a few years ago. And it was surprising how many people don't realize that what neighborhood they live in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that map is a really good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good map. I lived in Rolando Park for about 10 years thinking I lived in Darnall because nowhere.
The police map.
Yeah, and
And that's
nowhere
what the
could you
planning
find
group is still using,
any
is our
document
police
in,
maps
yeah,
instead
you
of
could not
planning
find
maps.
a document at the city that showed you the boundaries for your community at the time. And it's like, really, Darnall? Oh, I live in, I had
A
no
lot of
idea.
people in my
They're in the
neighborhood
mid-city
think we
plan,
live in
the
Rolando.
boundaries.
But where would you
A
find
lot of
that if you
people
didn't know where to
in El
look
Surreal
at?
think they live in
Yeah.
Rolando.
Oh, do they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a copy of it.
Okay, so the map,
Mhm.
I think the map's a great idea.
Me too.
Bob. thought
Yeah,
you
do we
could-
want something on a poster board then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do that.
All right.
Okay.
Different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a map that we could use? Do you know of one?
I will see if I can get one from.
Okay.
I have.
Yeah.
It's in the community plan, the old.
No, we have a new one that I got from Nathan when we turned in our application. Of course, it did still have Darnall on
Oh,
it and El Cerrito Heights, so.
Oh, that's
well, we
Yeah, I
can
did a
edit
little
the
I did-
PDF.
I edited the PDF.
Okay.
and Fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Kristen?
right.
Is the survey gonna be a paper form or online at the pop-up or?
We could do it either way.
Because I was thinking we might want to create a QR code
Yeah, I would create.
and
yeah.
people can scan it with their phones. It could take them directly to a Google survey, which
Mhm.
automatically
Mm.
separates information for you.
Yeah,
And most people are used to just scanning with their QR codes. It
yeah.
prevents mistakes from typing in an email
Mhm.
or a web address.
That's a great
And
idea.
then they
Yeah.
can take it home and do it later.
Whenever they want.
Yeah.
Street fair.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're free and super easy to create.
And
I
wonder if the
create
planning
one every
department
month.
is doing
Yeah.
that
Do
with
you-
all their
Yeah.
pop-ups too.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
You know, we do a QR code on our meeting signs on our sandwich boards. And it takes you right to our calendar to show you
Oh,
what the
that's a great
meeting
idea.
information
I'm
agenda is
gonna do
about.
Oh,
that
that's
at
great.
ours.
Yeah, it works real well.
Are we doing it for Eastern? You said we, so I don't know if that means.
Oh, Rolando Park.
Rolando Park does,
Oh, okay.
sorry, but we could do one here. Yeah, I think so. So, any other thoughts? Because we have one more meeting before the street fair, so we'll bring all of our materials back and do a little show and tell and maybe a little demo on QR code and a form, everything put
You
together.
happen to let Nathan know that the Darnall is ancient?
He told me it didn't matter.
It does to that community.
Boy, does it ever.
We had a
Really?
conversation about it and he's,
A lot of blood, sweat and tears went into that.
yeah.
Yeah, I did. I remember.
Why not?
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
Okay. Thanks. Moving on from there. So right away, I want to say Danielle was right and I was wrong. Because, oh, should we have an ad hoc committee for community outreach or should we have a standing committee?
Oh.
And it only took trying to put one standing committee meeting together to see that you were right. That it makes sense for the next year to make it ad hoc, because trying to get something noticed by the city in a timely way and all that's involved. So I would like someone to make a motion. That could be you, Bettina. To approve, we'll change this from a standing committee to an ad hoc committee on community outreach for the next year. And then we can just meet when we need to meet. After the street fair, we might not need to meet again for a while, maybe not till the fall if we look at maybe another kind of outreach thing
So
to do.
moved.
So Tina will make a motion.
I make a motion
Oh.
to change the outreach committee from a standing committee to an ad hoc committee for the rest of the year.
And seconded,
I second.
seconded by Andy. All right.
Year means to the next elections? Or to the end
Sure.
of December,
Not a year from now.
so the next, not calendar year, but.
Yeah.
12 months, the next 12 months.
Just for clarification.
Yes, important, next 12 months.
Is that okay? All right. Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alex, Andy,
Yes.
Bettina,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Thank you. Approved unanimously. And now comes the real action item. I need 2 volunteers for the election subcommittee for the June election. And this will be from June 2024 to March 2026. And then we are back on schedule post-pandemic. Sorry?
We're only doing half the time.
No, 26. Yeah, we're doing half at a time.
So
We already have, we did an election in September that goes to March 2025. All right, this one will be June. It will go to March 2026.
because it's a 2-year.
Right. And this gets us back on track after being off during the pandemic because we didn't even meet for several months there. Yes.
What does volunteering entail?
You, well, need to
We
pair
have
you up
them
with
written
someone
down
who's not.
somewhere in standing rules or bylaws.
Yeah, I've got, it's in our, it's on our operating procedures. Basically, the first thing you would do would be to screen the people who are eligible on the board and see if they want to run in June. And then we'll put together a little campaign that we can announce, and you can ask people to announce it at the community council meetings. But if people are not attending now, they're not going to be eligible by June because you need to have attended 2 meetings in the last calendar year. So we have from now until May for people to attend 2 meetings.
That's because we're going by our old bylaws.
The city said we do not change until they let us know. So at this point, we just sort of have to go with the 2 meetings. So in order to get someone's name on the ballot, it has to be, we have to know by May, which means
And all of the sign-in sheets need to be perused to see who's attended.
I've
Right,
got a record of everything at
Yeah,
home.
so who's attended more than 2 so that they would be eligible.
Exactly.
Want to run.
Yep.
Well, we can make sure we get stuff on all our websites and say, if you're interested, gotta attend the next 2 meetings.
Next, or they just have to, even if they attended one in the last year, if they
Right, right.
attend
Yeah,
one
2
more.
within the year.
I do know someone in Rolando Park who plans to come next month, probably to announce that she wants a seat on the board. Yeah.
And we have a list of everybody who's up for election coming up in June.
Yeah, and Daryl will be termed out. So we will be looking for another representative from Webster. We have a vacancy in Rolando. And yeah, I mean, we'll let the election committee
Isn't it that he can be reseated if nobody else is interested?
No.
With 2/3 of a vote?
New rules, you can't do that. You have to sit out a year.
Not right now. We're still going by the old bylaws.
No, I think by the time,
Under 24 rules.
We haven't somebody who's interested anyway, so
Oh, good.
good.
okay.
She's actually here right now.
The bylaws don't talk about elections.
Yes.
All right, that works for me.
And for Rolando too.
So we might be at a 15-person group.
Yes, we could. If we, well, we still have room for a business representative. We just filled our member at large. So we still would have room for a community representative and a business representative. So, yeah.
We find out when our terms are up.
Well, the election committee will tell you, but I could tell you that your term is up. And the problem will be if we hear from the city, because as you know, married people who live in the same household can't sit on the board. So you and John will probably have to flip a coin. I think. Yeah.
You
Paper,
do it one
scissors.
month and she'll do the other month.
Whoever's in trouble,
Whoever-
it's like, you gotta do it.
When I get home, I'll email it out tomorrow, just so everyone knows who would be eligible, who should be running in June. So
Those terms are up in June, so, and then you say who wants to run again.
exactly,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's up to the subcommittee to contact them and get everyone to fill out another meet the candidate form. One of the things I noticed when we were perusing flyers for our group is that the City Heights group has the most amazing application I've ever seen. It looks like a job application. And I mean, maybe we want to beef up our meet the member profile, but I don't think we need to know that much. The meet the candidate's a pretty good form because you have to really think about what you want to tell people. So anyway, I'm all open for 2 volunteers. Any two, speak now, don't.
Just pick the 2 that aren't here today.
Surprise, you guys.
I just volunteered for the outreach committee,
I'll
so.
go ahead and volunteer for that.
I think you're one of the candidates, so you can't,
Oh, I
Alex.
can't. Oh.
No, sorry, you're
Yeah, I
running in
think that's
June.
my case too, right?
Are you ready? Yeah,
I
you're
think I'm running in June. Yeah,
June.
It really isn't that difficult. I ran the last.
yeah.
Mhm.
Alex
So
did
I
it.
volunteered, but.
I think I can volunteer.
Thank you.
I'll
It'll
do
be
it with,
in
if-
June.
I'll do it with Jennifer.
Yeah.
Last year you bailed on me, remember?
No.
I think
It's not a lot of work. It's more about just reaching out, confirming who wants to run
Alex
again.
did it last year.
Yeah, Alex did it
Yeah.
last year.
Oh, or when we had the last election, what
Yeah.
was that?
In
September?
September.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of work. I've got forms to help again with everything.
She has a list of all.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Now on to the really grim action items, John,
Yeah.
Need to approve them to the,
for a subcommittee.
yeah.
Sure.
Because the action I'll move this. Elections of the.
Daniela, okay, second,
Second.
Alex. Okay, Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Bettina,
Yes.
Danielle, Jennifer,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura.
yes.
Passed unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm gonna do if you leave the board. I'll be calling you. All right, now we're gonna move on to the grim item, and that's our bank account at US Bank. Do you want to talk or do you want me to explain it, John?
I think that I can tell.
Okay.
So we were hopeful that we had gotten the $75.02 access to our account. However, I don't know, between the two of us, we must have 8 hours into going back and forth with the bank. They just really don't want us to switch things around.
They want us to have a TIN number.
Yeah, they want a tax ID and that, which,
Number. And they want to know the year this board, not only the year, but the day this board was formed. And I thought, well, I could probably ask Danielle and Laura, you might remember or tell me where I could find it.
Well, going before I got on.
Exactly.
Before I got on.
Yeah. And the other problem with that is if we have,
Doris Perry and
if,
Tony Talbot might know.
maybe, but here's the bigger issue. Do we want to have a tax ID? Because then we're going to be filling out
To do a
tax
tax
forms
For $75.
for $75 and frankly,
$75.02 is not worth it. And especially since we never use any money. So I'm sure banks will love it when people do it, but they just abandon accounts. And it's, they
Won't
just
give you
made
the
it
money
to-
back?
we haven't
Can't
asked. We
access.
thought we should bring it here and
Yeah.
talk about it first, but
I don't know that they would give money back to people who don't own the account. And we don't own the account.
Who owns it then?
Is it Linda who's got?
Yeah, who owns the account?
Who's on the name?
we
Who's
do.
on the name?
But you and I own the account. At this
Yeah.
point, sort of.
Can't do anything with it because you own the account?
No, we can't do anything with it because we can't tell them when this group was started
Yeah.
and they won't let us do anything without a tax ID.
How did we change names previously before, when Linda got on?
Because it was a Union Bank then
Union
and
Bank,
now
yeah.
it's US Bank and
Yeah.
everything's a little bit different.
Can we,
So here's our recommendation.
Yeah.
We think we should dissolve the account, get our money out if we can. Because the way that things work with the city now, if we incur expenses and we can incur up to $500 a year, the city will reimburse us. Which means we don't need an account because they want it to come to one of the three officers. And they will give that check to that person. So one of the three officers would probably pay for any expenses up front and then submit the invoice and receipts and get a reimbursement check from the city.
Or we can donate if something's.
yeah.
big.
Well, I mean,
$75. Have we given anything to Teen Challenge lately?
no,
Okay, so, if you are allowed to take the $75 out, you can leave them their 2 cents.
Gotta fight for that.
And just clear out the 75 and just donate it to Teen Challenge. That would be my motion to resolve this.
I like that.
yeah,
better go to another bank.
Oh, why?
No,
75 bucks never gonna use?
I can't even tell you how many emails John and I have from bank people. They even went to my Choice Lake account and sent me an email there.
On the amount of time you spend on it,
And
that's
I have
ridiculous.
accounts at that bank, so it's really weird because they started blending me into, and I was like,
Oh.
no.
So,
Yeah.
Because if they're starting to bug your private and our Choice Lake one.
yeah, we don't want to
It's only
commingle.
$75. If they were to blend the money, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I just don't want to have like anything to do with it. And it was, I mean, we went out and we had a meeting with them. We sat down and we thought, oh, cool, it's all fixed. And we just kept getting calls from corporate.
Yeah.
And I don't know where these people are coming from, but over and over and over and I mean, probably 5 or 6 times.
At least.
Okay, my motion is to dissolve the account of the 75 and let the bank keep their 2 cents and give the 75 to Teen Challenge.
Second,
I second that.
I would, but I can't. All right. Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
okay, Andy,
Yeah.
Bettina,
Yes.
Danielle, Jennifer,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
thank you.
Keep the 2 cents.
The end of a sad saga.
So are we going
I
with a
hope it's
different
the
bank?
No, we just won't have an account.
We
Oh.
won't have an account because, yeah,
Yes.
everything now you just submit to the city and get reimbursed.
So then does that
Up to
count
500.
as income for someone? Do you have to pay taxes on that?
$200, I'm not, I mean, it'll be in small increments here. The first year groundwork is covering our website for us. So after this, the freebie, it will probably cost us about $220 a year to maintain a website. If we do an event and we do some flyers, we'll spend the other couple hundred doing promotional material. So we can conceivably spend $500 a year.
But if somebody's getting reimbursed from the city for $500, whoever that is,
Yeah.
do you have to pay taxes on that money? That's
Not reimbursed.
No.
Okay.
Expense report.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a zero, we're not profiting, you're coming out zero.
Yeah.
You're made whole again.
There was a point when they were first started talking about reform, when they were going to give every planning group a bank account, they were going to set it up for us. And I think they quickly realized they were going to get into something really dangerous and just not do this.
Well, people were also talking about how in LA, they get $35,000 a year per plant group.
No.
I don't think it's that planning group. No.
All
Have
of
great
it,
party.
because
Okay.
that's.
Good luck getting the money out.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Let's move on so we can wrap up tonight. So I'm going to say that I don't think we have a treasurer's report or.
That was it.
That's it, yeah.
$75.02.
All right, moving on to review and approval of the minutes, February, Jennifer and John. Got a correction from Alex on the speaker for next month. Thank you for that, Alex. I didn't correct it in the version that I sent out, but are there any other changes?
I'm not sure if there's a typo on page 3. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th bullet point, starting with Roberto. Bing Street is slanted and floods a resident. Is that correct? A resident?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anyone else?
Oh, I thought they were great.
Yeah.
It took me 5 hours.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a
Keep it
motion to
simple.
approve with the correction?
Move approval as corrected.
I second.
Thank you. Bob?
Yes?
Approve of John?
Yes.
Alex? Andy?
Yes.
Bettina?
Yes.
Danielle? Jennifer?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Minutes are approved with one correction. Thank you very much. On to subcommittee reports, because we're running out of time and I don't want to go over 9 o'clock. For community updates, if you have anything for your community, raise your hand. Otherwise, yeah, I don't want to go over.
Everybody gets 1 minute, right?
If you have anything at all, just raise your hand. Otherwise, for this month, we're going to assume we don't have anything going on for our communities. I will raise my, I will just say there's a cleanup on Streamview Drive on March 30th. Got the flyer.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Anyone else?
Short and sweet.
All right, thank you. We don't have, Roberto's not here. We don't have anything on,
No, we don't. Yeah.
Danielle,
Okay,
Parks
how
and
many
Rec.
minutes do I get? 2, 3?
One.
Yeah, nobody else
Um,
has their report.
You can have 4.
You can't add the
have
report
4.
together.
Okay, so, I'm not sure, with the agendas that went out for yesterday's meeting, how much, detail in the staff reports, the charts and all, but I did, photocopy a few things so that there's, details about Joyce Creek Oak Park Branch, Joyce Triangle Play Neighborhood, and then the, you all saw the 19, park list. But, I did some, cross, data not checking, but, compiling stuff. And so, the CIP score points, the highest one was the Joyce Creek Oak Park Trail at 85 CIP score. And the next one was Memorial Lighting. Those were in the 80s, and then it went to the high 60s, and then low 60s, and then down into the higher mid 50s. They have the cutoff at 50 points for the CIP. So I think what I'll do is give you the dollar amounts in descending order. Would that be good? And then the 6 that we were interested in here. Clay Neighborhood Park got 1,150,000. Then Montezuma Park, just across the way, got $1 million. Then Choya's Triangle got $935,000. North Choya's got $800,000. Sunshine Bernardini got $300,000. And the one that had the highest points, that would the most need, at only $100,000. Now, I don't know what's in the account already. The Oak Park Trail.
Trail.
Choice Creek. They got the highest points, but got the least amount of dollars,
Odd.
which is odd,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's already in the account.
I
So it
did,
could be
yeah.
National Park or something else.
I did look at some of that today, and some of that is because that's all they need to finish and get the,
project.
take it to the next
Okay,
phase.
but I remember one of the projects I was looking at earlier, especially for the Forest Watershed, all, you know, the master plan kind of a thing. There was one project, and I thought it was this one that needed like 95% of the money needed to get the project done. They only had 5% funded. And I thought it was this one. I thought it was Choice Creek. But I have to do some cross checking on all those. So also in the data that was released to us as Park and Rec board members is they have the next list that's coming. And I don't know if that's next year or not. Before I go into that one, I did check to see that Council District 8 had 6 projects. That was the highest of the 19. Council District 9 had 5 projects, and Council District 4 had 5 projects. So quite a few dollars are coming here south of 8.
Yep.
2 out of the 19 are not in park deficient communities, but they are in communities of concern. 10 out of the 19 are not in communities of concern. So I don't know how they figure this all out with these 19, but the next list, the highest one at 70 points, CIP points, was Sefton Field. I do believe that's the one at the far west end of Mission Valley, close to Old Town over there. I think those are some ball fields there. I think that's where Sefton is. Then there's San Ysidro and Kelly, I'm not sure where, Boston Ave, these places I've never heard of, Rancho Bernardo, South Bay. Marie Windman, I think is in District 4. And they seem to be getting some money from the congressman. Cannon Park, not sure where that is. Emerald Hills is NTC, Willie Henderson, 2 projects there. Mira Mesa, Hidden Trails, Black Mountain, and then Ward Canyon over there by Highway 15 and Adams Ave. So it looks like a lot of other neighborhoods are getting the next round. Districts 8, 9, and 4 got a lot this year.
Yes,
So,
we did.
so I was just going to give you a future. And then I do want to say publicly, thank you to Julie Hamilton, Jennifer Bennett, John Hogan, Alita Chavez, Alex Zukas, Lorna Zukas, Roy Murphy, and Lupe Diaz, all people from either District 9 or 4. And then I did know Sue Richardson, who is also college area. I'm doing online. So thank you to Roberto to get the word out because District 9 really shined yesterday. So very nice.
That's great.
To Roberta.
Yeah, it was.
And Jeffrey
Roberta.
too, because Jeffrey
Yeah.
got the word out.
Yeah.
To the college area. So I think our council person, now that there's someone on Park and Rec board, and they're saying, oh, the parks need to be a little more prioritized. So I think the staff there in Council District 9 is saying that, you know, we need to reach out, we need to advocate for our parks. So thank you to all the parks, and I'm going to do this thing. Thank you to everybody that called in at the Park and Rec board too. So. District 9, yay for us.
Yeah,
That's
I
great.
thought yesterday those were
Okay,
really,
District 5,
really good wins.
There were only 2 other people, and they really didn't talk about anything that was pertinent. So.
Oh, those people were
I know,
crazy.
you're crazy.
That one woman was nuts.
She does. There's this one lady that she talks to every time. She even talked when I was getting appointed to the park.
Oh, man.
It looks
it's
like we
about
had
how
about a quarter of the money.
people harvesting organs and.
Yeah. 4 million with that.
Use their 2 minutes to blab about whatever they want.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Anyway, so if you want any more details, that's what I have. I have some stuff here. Little League for their opening day, and the Swinging Friar showed up, and the kids were just having a blast. As most of us older adults did too. So our opening day was earlier this the last Saturday of February.
That it?
Yep, that's it. That's
Thank
all
you.
I have. So
Thanks,
unless anyone
Danielle.
has questions about upcoming meetings or parks or whatever, let me know.
Oh, thank you. Laura, CPC meeting. I see that the inclusionary engagement people did not make it.
We did not make it. But we had the land development code update come through and they wanted us, they made maybe 4 changes to land development code. 70 or over close to 80 of which affect the whole city and about 15 just affect downtown area. And they reviewed like 7 or 8 of them and then wanted us to approve the whole thing. And we said, no, 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 no. We gotta take more time and look at this and bring it back to at the end of this month to look at the things and see what's going on, because it was just so much. And there was a subcommittee who looked it over, but they never had a quorum, so they couldn't really make findings. And a lot of people on the CPC just wanted more time to be able to review it before anybody said yes. So if there's anything startling, I'll get info to Lynn and she can get it dispersed.
Yep. Okay.
Work from there. And then we also discussed how the new planning groups, if say for instance, I guess in La Jolla and Hillcrest areas, there's rival planning groups being submitted.
Yep.
And they're saying, and we're trying to figure out who would still be making decisions when those planning groups haven't yet had an official election for their people. So we discussed that, and we're asking the city to give if they give it to another group, to give them 90 days to hold elections and for their new board, and their new people would also have to run against all the people on the existing board if the existing board people wanted to challenge the seat. So that would be neighborhood elections like they're supposed to have. And then whoever gets the most votes wins the seat. And then until that group goes through those 90 days and has an elected board, that all decisions that are being decided on should still remain with the existing planning group until the new group has their officials or their reps officially elected. So that's what it was kind of up in the air. Nobody knew how things were supposed to work, and Marlon, who's our rep, didn't know either. So we recommended that. Let's see if the city does that.
Okay.
And question came up is if this year we know that there's 2 buying groups. But what if next year somebody wants to buy for a group? Are they going to have to make determinations every year if somebody wants to form their own planning group and challenge a planning group? So
I think once you're recognized by the city, though, through this process, that won't happen.
Marlon wasn't quite sure, but he suggested that perhaps that was the answer.
I think that's the
Okay.
way that's trending.
That'll be good because for sure.
They're making it up as they go along.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay.
We had a very short, I mean, it was long, but it was only 2 topics.
Okay. So 2 things real quick before we say adios. Next month, Remy will be here to talk about short-term rentals. I asked her to reschedule so that we could have lots of time to talk with Alex Frost tonight. Second thing I want to say is last month, one of our attendees was a documenter from iNewsSource, and they have a new program where they document public meetings. We happen to be the first planning group, I think, that they have documented. And so I'm just being transparent and disclosing. They contacted me the next day to ask about a video for the meeting and ask for some follow-up questions. They are doing an article about planning groups. At first, they thought the city was violating the Brown Act by not posting our notices, agendas in time, but I sort of explained that. But they're now looking at the appeal process and how planning groups would have to pony up money to appeal a decision, and that impacts lower income planning groups. So anyway.
What's the number for the appeal? What's the dollar amount?
$1,000.
We only get 500 a year.
Yeah, and I'm not sure you can use that 500 for that.
Probably not.
Well, it'd be nice if you could, and then you'll have to come up with another 5.
Yeah.
Right?
So anyway, just if you see an article about us on iNewsSource, that's what it's about. They did try and go to a city group, some board, and they did find them in violation of the Brown Act because the meeting was canceled and they never put out a cancellation notice. So they dinged them on that.
We didn't violate it.
It's on their
What's the
website.
group called?
It's iNewsSource. Steve Breen works for iNewsSource now, but it's a section called Documenters. And it's based on a program they do in Chicago about documenting public meetings and making them accessible for everyone. So interesting process. And on that note, it is 9:01. Sorry?
Are they gonna start carrying our meetings?
No, no, this is a one-time thing. Yeah. Yeah, bless you.
Thank you.
It is 9:01. Motion to adjourn. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We're very close tonight to finishing on time. Good night, online people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good night now.
Good night, everyone.
You have jurisdiction for my future, in our community. Thank you.